Welcome to the Carpe Diem Conversation, which is a place where I uh, talk to people that are actually living the Carpe Diem lifestyle. And tonight's special guest, Leah Mether, is certainly doing just that. She has she's 1 week into her Outback Book Tour, but it's an Outback Book Tour with a difference. Leah has her whole family of 5 in tow, so something with a little bit of difference. So that's what it's all about. And without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Leah and introduce Leah. Leah Mether, how are you?
I am great, thank you. It is starting to chill down here at Alice Springs, hence the big jacket. I'm sitting outside under the awning of our Jayco caravan, and it's a pleasure to be speaking with you tonight.
Yeah, and while you're getting cool over there, I'm actually a little bit roasty here in the sun in the French Alps, but that's okay. So, Leah, tell us, I know a bit about you. I don't know everything about you, and I'm sure some of the people out there know something about you, but there'll be others that don't. So, who is Leah Mether?
So I am a country girl from rural Victoria, and what I do is I run my own business. I'm a communications and soft skills specialist, and I work as a speaker, trainer, facilitator, author, uh, and a coach. And essentially, what I do is I help people get out of their own way with the development of soft skills, which are really hard. So, when I'm talking soft skills, I'm talking things like communication, mindset, leadership, emotional intelligence, all those things that are hugely important to our success, both personally and in our careers, but that a lot of us haven't paid attention to for a really long time. We've worked on developing our technical skills and abilities and ignored our soft skills. And there's a bit of a worldwide awakening at the moment saying, whoa, hang on, we've dropped the ball on this. A lot of organisations have promoted their leaders on the back of their technical skills. And unfortunately, you've now got leaders in a sink or swim situation going, geez, it's the people bit that's the hardest bit of our job. How do I manage that? So what I do is I go into these organisations. I have a whole suite of different workshops and keynote speeches that I deliver. And I go in and I work with organisations to help them develop these skills because I suppose contrary to traditional belief, they can be taught. I suppose it used to be thought you're either born a good communicator or you're not. And the reality is soft skills, like any skill, can be taught if you're willing to learn. Personally, I am also a mum of 3 boys. So as you mentioned, Andy, they are on holiday with me and my husband, and my boys are aged 9, 7 and 5. So I certainly have my work cut out for me.
You need some soft skills skills there, certainly, as
Oh,
well.
look, and it's funny, as you know, Andy, my book, and I'll just hold it up for people, Soft is the New Hard, How to Communicate Effectively Under Pressure. Um, I'm leaving one in every caravan park that we're at because it is, if you're ever going to communicate under pressure, it's when you're camping with your family. And I think every caravan park we've stopped in so far, you always see those conflicts happening between spouses when they're trying to set up their tent or their caravan. So I think it's a bit of a community service, leaving a book behind in each of the places we stay.
A little bit of a subtle hint there to lift your communications. Yeah, certainly. Hey, we'll just shout out to my sister who's just joined us, and
Hello, Karen.
she's in a hotel in Singapore. So here we are. We're very global
Wow,
tonight.
we
French Alps,
are.
Alice Springs, Singapore, and Kay has just joined us from. Oh, she's freezing in Wyndham.
Wyndham. There
Yeah, so
you
there you go.
go.
Fantastic. So yeah, it's not just the soft skills aren't just about the business. It's it's a general
Oh,
awakening.
absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, it's interesting because when I'm working in organisations, I'll always say to the people in the workshops, what you learned today won't just be applicable for you in your working life. It will be just as applicable in your home life as well. And it's interesting the things that different people take from what they learn. You often have people come up to you I often have people come up to me in the break and say, oh, you know, I might be communicating this style at work, but geez, I'm actually really passive aggressive at home and I've never realized it before. So you often do get that crossover. And when I run public workshops, quite often I'll get people there for their personal lives. I quite often get husband and wives come along and see a lot of arm ribbing throughout the session. But, you know, these skills are essential. Communication underpins all human connection and relationships, regardless of whether it's in a workplace or in your personal life.
Fantastic. Hey, and we've got shout out to Kay Saarinen there. She totally agrees. It must have been about your caravan situation. They are caravanners. We actually interviewed. I had a chat to Kay and Greg Saarinen from Saarinen Organics last week on this very show. So yeah, they're doing the same thing. So awesome. So let's get to what you're doing now, which is now most book writers or authors do actually have a book tour. But yours is a bit different. Not many authors actually pack up the whole family for their book tour. So tell me what motivated you and what was behind that.
So what happened, I launched my book in March this year and it's been going great guns, doing really amazing things because I self-published, which is what I wanted to do. So like I mentioned at the start, I live in regional Victoria and do a lot of my work down there in Gippsland. I do work in Melbourne and across the country as well. So it launched, it's all been going great. And you know, because of the work I'd put into writing the book, and I've been all guns blazing for a really long time now, my husband and I had a chat about the fact we needed a holiday, we needed a family trip. And I actually travelled around Australia on my own with a tent in the back of my three-door car when I was 21 and had the time of my life. And I did it with my parents when I was a kid as well. So I'd always said to my husband, I'd love to take our kids up the centre and up to Darwin. And my husband hasn't done that trip before either. So we were looking at going on a holiday anyway. And when we did, I've actually got a friend who works as a tour guide at Uluru, another former colleague who works up in Darwin. And I thought, oh, well, if we're going to do a holiday anyway, and, you know, I run my own business, so I have a virtual assistant and me. So I went 5 weeks off. That's a hard ask when you run your own business. So how about I combine a holiday with a book tour? I can promote my book in places that I wouldn't have otherwise got to. I can reach a wider audience. I can be calling into bookstores, you know, in every town that we visit. I can catch up with those contacts and, you know, go and speak to their organisations. I can be doing that promotion while coupling it with a family holiday. So one of the cool things I'm doing is each day I'm taking a photo of the book in a different location depending on where we are that day. So it's a way of continuing that marketing and promotion for the book while combining that with a family holiday. So it's really a win-win.
Yep. And see, I'm loving everything you're saying there because, as you know, I'm an advocate and I'm all about integrating work and life as one. And that's exactly what I do in my program. I actually teach people to integrate work and life as one instead of deferring life until later. And that's actually what you're doing. That's why I was so excited to talk to you about this, because it's not a holiday, it's not work, it's integrating work and life as one. And it's absolutely a win-win situation. So and the greater benefit for you, and interesting to hear you say that, is you're actually taking your book promotion to places you would not have normally gone to. So yeah, it's a win-win-win. And who knows what's out there and the people you'll meet as a result of doing that. So I'm absolutely loving this, and this is absolutely the the Carpe Diem mantra and lifestyle that we talk about. So awesome. So here we are. You're 1 week in?
5 days. Today's day 5. So we've covered a lot of kilometres in a few days with a young family.
Yeah, you just told me how much you travelled today, and you said that wasn't a long day. But so 1 week in, how far have you travelled? Or 5 days? Sorry.
Oh, look, it must be at least, let me think, we did 950 Ks the first day. We did 830 Ks on the third day, and today's the fifth day, and we did 750. So you're probably looking at up over 2,500 Ks
Wow.
in 5 days. So kids have been remarkable. They have travelled really, really well, which has been awesome. And our aim is we're shooting up to Darwin. We're going to have a week up in Darwin, and then we're going to make our way back down the middle as well, because we've got 5 weeks. And realistically, that's, you know, we would have loved to come down through Outback Queensland, but we didn't quite have the time for that. So we'll be coming down and doing Uluru, Kings Canyon on the way back down out of school holidays. So we're thinking, and
good.
yeah, then we'll get home for the start of August.
You know what? This, you might say you haven't got the time this time, but who knows next time? And I actually started my working from anywhere journey by coming here to the French Alps 1 month in May 2013. The next year I come back for 2 months. The next year I come back for 3 months. And here I am 3 months every year, integrating work and life as one. So who knows? And to do it with a family, and other families do it, because, you know, there is ways to school, actually learn more out there in the countryside than they do. It's, you know, not more, but it's different experiences. So who knows where it goes from here. Okay, so challenges. Tell me about the challenges you've come across. I can pick one for sure.
One for sure is Wi-Fi. One for sure is Wi-Fi. So because we have been traveling such long periods on the road, I've been doing a bit of work, you know, hotspotting from my phone to my laptop, doing a bit of work in the car on the way. This morning we left Pivapedi. I posted, you know, a couple of social media things out and went, great, now I'll get stuck into responding to comments and things like that, and it promptly dropped out of Wi-Fi for the next 3 hours. So thankfully in the bigger towns that we're in, there is Wi-Fi, which is great. It's allowing me to keep in regular contact with my assistant. So she's really running, taking care of the day-to-day stuff while I'm gone, but that certainly is a challenge. And, you know, this is a holiday as well as, you know, I'm continuing to tick things over with work. So the challenge for me is the same challenge I have, to be honest, when I'm at home, because I'm a mum to 3 little kids, I'm a wife, I'm a business owner. So it's making sure that I do what I need to do to keep things ticking along, but that I'm not spending my whole holiday working. So it's, as always, that balance, trying to find that balance. Obviously keeping kids entertained. But really, in terms of work, it's making sure that I had things pretty well set up, even down to basics like a great out of office message, just so people, if they're emailing me, they know not to expect a message back straight away. They understand what's going on. It's about setting those expectations so that people understand what you're doing and why.
Yeah, and my next question was going to be about balance, but you've actually answered that. But getting back to how you've set up, you've got a virtual assistant, and it's important to set up systems. So it sounds like you have got systems set up, which is the very thing that does give you the freedom to be able to do what you're doing by setting up those systems, and not your business not becoming just you. And your business is, you know, you are the face of your business, but you're still able to, and this is what I try to get across the people that come to me. I teach them how to let go of control of some of the things that they don't have to do, some of the admin tasks, some of the other stuff. So, and it's a matter of putting the systems in place and empowering someone else to do that. Now, you've got a virtual assistant, you mentioned that, and obviously systems in place. And this sort of journey is a really good way to actually test those systems and also refine them. So how are you finding that working with remotely that way?
Yeah, look, I suppose one of the great things about the fact, so my assistant is a virtual assistant. She is based in the Philippines, and she's worked with me for about 6 months. Before that, I had another virtual assistant based there, and before that I had a business manager based on the Gold Coast. Sorry, a bit of noise from our next door campers.
That's all right.
So yeah, so I've worked with I suppose what set me up great for this sort of travel is I'm already working remotely with someone. So
Yeah.
a lot of the systems we've had in place, whether I'm working from home or on the road. So that's certainly made things easier. I use Asana for task management, which is really great at keeping track of things. Another great little tool that I've only been put onto very recently is one called Voxer. And it's a great tool where you can just record quick voice messages and send them. So I've been using that quite a bit with my assistant because it's much quicker and easier to record me giving a quick instruction or setting a quick task rather than, I might not have Wi-Fi for long enough to pull my laptop out and send off an email. So I'm trying to find those little ways of speeding things up and systemizing to mean that I can work remotely without it having that huge impact.
Yeah, and there's some of the things that I work with my people, and I've actually got my first Carpe Diem retreat turning up in 2 days' time. So they're coming. They've been through the program, and they're coming to the French Alps for 7 days to work from anywhere on their business. And there's some of the exact things, and they will have the next bigger challenge, which is a challenge I have, and that is being 8 hours behind Australia. So you have to be ahead. But once you have the systems in place, obviously like you have, it's about not working in live time. You're just managing things and putting them into the system for your VA to manage, and it really does work, and it changes your life. And speaking of that, what difference has doing this made to your life? How do you feel about making this decision? I know you're only 5 days in, but what's the feeling so far?
Oh, look, I am someone who has always loved adventure and travel. I traveled the world in my 20s. I traveled Australia in my 20s, all before I had a family. My husband and I have done quite a bit of travel with the kids as well. But I know I throw everything into everything that I do, whether it's, I'm hugely involved in our local community down in Gippsland. I'm on a lot of different committees and I do a lot of volunteer work as well as throw myself 100% into my business. And I know the biggest risk to my success and my business is me burning myself out. 100%. And I have probably played it pretty close to that this year because off the back of my book and a rebrand and things really ramping up. So I knew that I needed a break. But the reality is it is different when it's your business and that's you. So I am away for 5 weeks, but I need to make sure that I have work booked in when I get back. And I do. I'm booked out almost for August already. I've got lots coming in September, October, November, but I can't just step away and, do nothing on the business for 5 weeks. Or I absolutely could, but I'd probably be in a bit of trouble in the later part of the year if I just shut down, especially when things in the book are going so well. There's a lot of interest, a lot of people wanting to book me for speaking or training. So I need to be able to keep rolling that over, and I need to be able to keep selling books. I had a couple of book orders come in today, so I'll be getting them in the mail tomorrow from Alice Springs. I'll be sticking a postcard from where I am in with them, so the people who ordered those will get a postcard as well. But it's about being able to do that work to keep things ticking. So it's making a huge difference because even though I've stepped away to have that bit of time out and a break, I know that things are still ticking along.
Yeah, and that's a sort of an interesting point you bring up about holiday and working. A lot of people that say to me, said, "Oh, well, if you're working from anywhere, that means you're available 24/7, 7 days a week." And I say to them, "No, it's all about being in control of when you're available." So, whilst at the moment you're integrating work and life as one, and it's a work-life integration, a real holiday is a separate thing altogether. For instance, I'm actually going to Italy for 2 weeks next month, but I won't be working. It's actually a holiday where you tick off and say, I'm on holiday, just like where you knock off at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or whatever you decide. It's about having the choice and the control of when and where you work. So, and yes, like I say, you're integrating work and life as one at the moment, and a holiday will be a completely separate thing. So it's,
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's awesome. Well, I think that's I think we've covered heaps. It's been really awesome from both sides of the world. One thing though, how can people buy your book? I've already got your book. I know my sister's online. She's an absolute fan of your book. I'm sure she'll be bringing it to France, and she's been sharing it at all her retreats. Where can people buy your book for starters?
Yeah, so the easiest way to find it is to jump on my website. You can just Google "Soft is the New Hard" as well, and it will pop up in lots of places. It's on, Amazon, Booktopia, all the usual places. It is available as a paperback, an audiobook, and an ebook. So I've sort of covered all bases. The easiest place to get it though is if you jump on my website, which is really easy. It's just my name, leahmether.com.au. You can click on book in there, and that will show you all of the places it's available. If you do order the paperback from my website, I will be signing it and shooting a postcard if it's ordered in the next 4.5 weeks.
Fantastic. And we'll put that link in the comments below anyway, so people can get to that as well. I think that's got it about covered. This has been fantastic. I've really enjoyed this. It's just awesome.
And I'm living the dreams.
Yeah, you're on the wine. I'm not quite on the wine. I'm currently on the water, but that's okay. Wine and cheese later. So that's the end of today. Thank you, everyone that did join us, and anyone that's joining us later. This has been the Carpe Diem Conversation. Next week, won't be able to be on Friday because I'll have my group here, and we'll actually be out hiking in those mountains this time next week.
Amazing.
But I will be looking to possibly have it on Thursday night with an interview of some of the people that are coming to the Carpe Diem retreat. So that should be fun. So thank you so much, Leah, and thank you everybody for joining the Carpe Diem Conversation. As always, folks, Carpe Diem, seize the day every single day. Au revoir.
Bye, everyone.